Yesterday, I offered my first impressions of using Google Glass for the weekend, and I had a lot of great comments in the video and a lot of great questions. And I will take this opportunity now to go through some of the questions and answer them. So, first is from Robin, and Robin says, "What do you do when you already wear glasses?" So, when you already wear glasses, if you have very thin frames, you can use Google Glass. Some people have been able to. But I think that most people, it's really difficult, and if you have thick frames, it's almost impossible to use Google Glass. That's a problem. And I've heard that the Google was partnering with Warby Parker to make some sort of prescription lens solution for people who want to use Google Glass. That was a rumor I heard months ago, and I think even the New York Times reported on it, but we haven't heard anything since. When I went to pick up Google Glass, they gave me the sunshades to attach to the front of the unit. They look like this. They come in a little pouch. They look like this, and they kind of just like snap in there. And I presume then if they have these and they can snap in, that perhaps someone out there, be it at Google or partnering with Google or on their own, are working on some kind of solution so that prescription lens wearers can themselves attach some sort of a prescription lens to their glass so that they can use it as well. Nate Bowen asked, you didn't mention anything about the feel of the headset. Is it uncomfortable? Does it feel unbalanced? Did they offer a left eye version? The headset, on the most part, feels pretty comfortable. The only complaint I have is that sometimes on the top of my ear, after a long day of wearing it, I do feel it on my ear. I do feel a little bit of soreness there. Either that's going to go away with time, or I'm going to have to add some sort of like padding here, because there's a little like nub on the side that I think is just rubbing up against my skin. And I think maybe if I get a little like soft adhesive pad to put there, I think it'll make it a little better. It doesn't feel unbalanced at all. It actually feels nice on my head. It doesn't feel like I'm like leaning over to the right like this. And do they offer a left eye version to Explorers? No, it only works with your right eye, actually. And that's a bummer for some people. I know my father, for instance, he can only really read well out of his left eye. And so he would need to be able to see it in his left eye. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can really do for people who want it in left eye. How big is the box? This is Groovy Drifter asking, how big is the box you have to carry it in with you to put them in when you're not allowed to wear them? Okay, so when I picked up Google Glass, it comes in a box like this, and they give you a little carrying pouch. Let me see. The packaging is actually really nice. Give you a little carrying pouch that looks like this. It has a hard bottom, but it's a soft top, and you can make it inside out, and this is some kind of Japanese microfiber cloth that's meant to like be able to clean it or whatever. I haven't used this at all. I haven't really taken off glass when I wear it out. I don't ever really put it away. So I haven't used this much. Maybe today I'll kind of walk around with this a bit, because I have a few things I want to do today, and I may not always be wearing Google Glass. How hard is it? Groovy Drifter also asks, how hard is it to put a red LED to signal any recording activity and or any sliding to cover the lens? So I think a slide to cover the lens would be pretty easy. In fact, I think I saw someone post something to Thingiverse, or a 3D plan, so you can 3D print your own little thing to clip over the lens if you have fear of or you don't want to like freak people out with the camera pointing at them. Hooking up a red LED would be difficult, I think. Knowing when you're actually recording is the tough part there. I mean, you could certainly strap an LED on here, but you'd have to get that LED to know when Google Glass is actually recording, and I think that would be difficult because the electronics in there are just so tiny. Is Google Glass like a peripheral for an Android phone or a standalone device? That's what the Bad Fred asked. It's a little bit of both. Google Glass connects to any Wi-Fi network that you tell it to, so in that sense it does act like a standalone device. When you're walking around out on the street, it tethers to your phone, and I'm right now using an iPhone, and I'll get to that in a second. I'm using an iPhone, and so it tethers over Bluetooth to my iPhone and uses my data connection that way. If you have an Android device, it tethers over Bluetooth, but then it also gets the app on the Android phone gives the glass access to maps and SMS messages. So I'm using the iPhone. I don't have access to that right now, so I'm stuck with just using data and no maps, no navigation, and no SMS messages with Google Glass on the iPhone. Darkther4Pi asks, sorry, is it worth $1,500 at this point? That's a great question. If you are a consumer that just wants to use glass, Glass is not for you, and it's definitely not worth $1,500. If you're looking for a product, it's not quite a product yet. It's still a beta, it's still a test, it's still a prototype. And there's still a long way to go in terms of capabilities. And I talked about that a lot yesterday, that the capabilities still needed some work. There's just some things you just can't do with it. And people have very high expectations for it. And we still have a long way to go in terms of software. And I think also some hardware improvements. So if you're a consumer, $1,500, no, don't go for it. It's not going to do what you want it to do. If you're interested in new technology, if you're interested in experimenting with it, if you want to play around with it, definitely check it out. $1,500 is very steep. It was a very, very tough decision for me, but I'm really eager. I've been playing around with the API, and I think there's some cool stuff to do with it. It's hard to use the API if you don't have Glass, and so yeah, there's that. Remix Nick says, I really like to see some video of it, like when you're on a cycle journey. Thanks. Well, yesterday I was biking to NYU and I took this video. Hey everybody, I'm just testing this out. I'm riding my bike through the streets of New York City. Let me just extend the recording by tapping on the side of the thing. Hit extend. Okay. No. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, I've got Glass on. I have it recording a video. By default, it records 10 seconds of video at a time. If I tap the side of Glass again and choose extend video, it lets me extend the video for as long as I want until I hit the side of the Glass again, or I guess until I run out of space on the device or battery. So I'm on my bike now. I bike through New York City. I bike from home to NYU a lot. Lots of bike lanes that make it really easy to do. Oh, this guy. Hey, he stopped. Good. So I'm going to pick up speed here. I'm on 3rd Street right now. Pick up speed. I'm wondering if the wind is going to block my voice and how I sound with that. This is probably the worst case scenario in terms of hearing speed. I've got wind going right against me right now. Right into my face. Alright, that's my video on the bike test. So as you can see, the sound gets really bad when you're moving on a bike. The wind, of course. I mean, I don't know what you could possibly do about that. Anyway, Kiwi Frog asks, how long does the battery last? Do you get a day's use or a few hours? The battery lasts most of the day, but I feel like pretty much every day I've had to give a recharge break for it. So that's definitely a problem. It doesn't last all day. Also, the truth is I have been using it a lot. I've been non-stop using it. I've been playing around with it a bit. I've been showing it off. So the battery's going to drain. And I think, though, that I've got an okay solution. I carry the charging cable with me, and I have one of those little USB battery packs. So I charge it up that way. It also is just killing my iPhone's battery. I mean, just like hammering it when I go out. So I keep that battery pack. I charge up my iPhone during the day, and I charge up Glass during the day. And it's an okay solution, not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. So another area for improvement. The last question I'll take is from Herplux. Can you show the interface? So right now I can't. That is because when you use an iPhone with Google Glass, you don't get all the functionality. One of the features you get with Android in Google Glass is you can hook up your Android phone so that you can see on the screen what you're doing with Google Glass, so you can show other people what it's doing. So I don't have an Android phone. I've been using iPhone, so I can't really show that now. But I have an Android phone coming to me, and I think it's going to be delivered today. It's a Nexus 4, so I'll be able to hook up the Google Glass to it, and hopefully I'll be able to show you what I see and do some demonstrations and so on and so forth. This also means that I'll be able to do navigation. I'll get to try that out. I'm really looking forward to that, and I'll be able to send text messages with Google Glass. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that. It sounded like, though, it's possible that an iPhone could eventually work with navigation and SMS messaging on Google Glass. It's possible. Maybe it could be done through an app that they might be developing. I don't know. I would think that they would want the same features on Android and on iPhone, and they wouldn't want, even though Android is very much a Google product, they might really want to make sure that Google Glass people have every feature no matter what platform they use. Well, we'll see. Anyway, I was looking for a new phone, and I've been talking before on this video about switching to Android, and so I'm going to give it a try, and I wanted to do it anyway, and it probably works better with Glass anyway. So I've got tons of Google Glass videos. Check out the playlist. I'll put a link to that in the description. If you have any other questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks a lot. Bye.